Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Wednesday. Today I have a comparison video between the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 bandolier in the monogram canvas and the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis in the monogram canvas as well. This video has been highly requested and I've been meaning to do it for the last couple of weeks, so my apologies that it's taken me this long. For the most part, I don't really end up doing comparison videos, so I have a feeling this video might be all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. I have notes in front of me, I have notes on the side. I'm gonna try to give you as much detailed information as possible. So that way, hopefully this video is helpful if you're deciding between the two and you can, move forward with whichever one ends up suiting your lifestyle the best. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of each of them. I'm going to show you how much each of them ends up fitting, and then I will also go into specifics as far as pros, cons, and measurements and weight and the whole 9 yards. So fingers crossed that this video ends up working out, and hopefully I don't end up rambling too much. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? Now for this video, I'm actually going to compare the details back to back, and what I mean by that is I'm going to give you, like for example, if I'm talking about the measurements on the Speedy, then I will go into the measurements of the Pochette Metis. When I talk about the pros, then I'll talk about the pros on the Pochette Metis, and etc. I feel that it might make it a little bit easier instead of just talking about one bag altogether and then going into the other one. So I might end up changing it, but for the most part, I feel that it might be a little bit more beneficial to have the details so close to each other, so that way it's easier to compare. So I just thought I would just mention that really quickly. So I think I'll start off with measurements before I jump right into pros and cons. So for the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 bandolier in the monogram canvas, it currently retails for $1,370 here in the States. The measurements on this beautiful piece are 9.8 inches in length. It is 7.5 inches in height and approximately 5.9 inches in width. And this features the brown textile lining on the interior. Now for the Pochette Metis, this one currently retails for $1,780 here in the States. The measurements on this are 9.8 inches in length, so the same as the Speedy 25. It is 7.5 inches in height, same as the Speedy. And as far as the width, this one is 3.5 inches, and this one features the brown microfiber interior versus the textile one that the Speedy has. So 1780 versus 1370 here in the States. Now for a quick overview on this bag, it is available in a few other prints as well as other leathers or other textures. It does come with a detachable, adjustable shoulder strap that is, or crossbody strap, that is all leather. It doesn't have any back pockets. It doesn't have any feet. As you can see, because it is the bandolier, it does have the strip of leather here to make it a little bit, for it to keep its structure a little bit better. So there's the other strap. And then inside, it does have the textile brown lining, as I said, and it's one open compartment, and it does have the zippered little compartment here. Now this pocket, depending on the version that you end up getting, the older models didn't have the zippered. It's just an open little slip pocket, but now they have the zipper there. And then the tabs as well are puffier in the newer models versus the older ones. They were flatter tabs for the handles. Now the only thing that I have added that doesn't come with the bag is the luggage tag. For me, this is my version of a bag charm, if you will. I feel that it adds a little bit more personality, and I opted to not use the lock on here just because it makes it a little bit easier since this is a dual zippered bag. So that is just a quick overview of this beautiful bag. Now for an overview on the Pochette Metis. This one is also available in a few other canvas prints, the Infra Rouge and the reverse monogram. And the newest line that they have is the Empreinte leather. So now I'm just wondering when they're going to release, if they're going to release a Demi Ebene or an Epi line, because this bag has been incredibly popular. Okay, so this does feature the gold tone hardware. It also features a detachable, adjustable shoulder crossbody strap, but this strap is actually all canvas. So it's a little bit more carefree. You don't have to worry about any type of vachetta. And as far as the opening, it does have the S-lock closure, and you just end up hitting the little tabs here and it pops right open. Now on the interior, as I said, it does have the brown microfiber lining, and you have a total of 3 compartments. You have one compartment here, the largest compartment in the middle, and then you have this little compartment here that's more like a slip pocket, if you will. But here is a side view of it. It has very minimal vachetta, so you have a vachetta vachetta, tomato, tomato. A lot of you, if you've been watching me for a while, you know how I feel about that. But it does have the vachetta handle up top. It does have some little tabs for the detachable strap on either side. So there's the other side. There are also no feet. Now on the back side, you actually have a little zippered pocket here. And when the Pochette Metis was first released, there was a few other differences. So it depends on the model that you're looking at as well, because the older ones had a little what's it called? Vachetta tab for the zipper here. And it also had an extra little pocket on the interior. But if you have the newer model, mine is a little bit newer since it was replaced. So I don't have that extra little pocket and I don't have that extra little tab on the back side. But back to the little zippered pocket here. This is great for your phone or for covering anything else that you don't want people to see when you open up your bag. So there we go. So that is a quick overview of the Pochette Metis. Very quickly, I wanted to talk about the weight. And the reason why I'd like to incorporate the weight of each of these bags, or whenever I do a review, is just in case someone ends up having shoulder pain or anything like that. I think it gives just a little bit more information as far as how much your bag will end up weighing once you start to put in the items that you already have. So maybe it might make the bag too heavy for you. So that's why I always try to include it in all of my videos. All right, so on to the weight of the Speedy Bandolier 25 in the monogram canvas. This weighs in at 1 pound, 1.6 ounces with the strap. Without the strap, it weighs in at 13.7 ounces. And the Pochette Metis weighs in at 1 pound, 8 ounces with the strap. And without the strap, it weighs in at 1 pound, 3.5 ounces. So this one is a little bit heavier than this one. All right, so now I wanted to talk about the strap because I feel that the strap is a detail that is very important as far as maybe what someone's looking for. And I thought I would give you a little bit more on the measurements of each of them. So let me just take these off really quickly. Okay, so for the Speedy 25, the strap, like I said, it is an all Vachetta strap. And from this tip to this tip, it is 45.5 inches, and they are on the last adjustments. Now, when it comes to this detachable strap, it's actually made up of 3 different pieces. So here is one, there is the other, and the last little piece. The first 2 pieces are the ones that have the adjustments. So there's a total of 6 adjustments. There's 3 on this guy and there's 3 on this one. So it makes it a lot easier if you want to make it shorter, depending on your height, or maybe if you just want, if you want it to be more of a shoulder bag, not necessarily a crossbody bag. But like I said, it is 45.5 inches from tip to tip, and that is on the last adjustment on both of the pieces of the adjustable strap. So it's on the last adjustment there, and it's on the last adjustment there, and that's how it ends up fitting the best on me. And I am 5'5", and it ends up fitting kind of like right at my hip, and I really like it because it makes it easier to reach into the bag. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but sometimes I feel with some crossbody bags they might end up being a little too high up, so it makes it kind of uncomfortable to get in and out of your bag if it ends up sitting too high up on my torso. So again, it is 45.5 on the last adjustment. So that is for the bandolier. Now, as far as the Pochette Metis strap, like I said, this is an all canvas strap. It's an all monogram canvas strap, and this one has a total of 7 adjustments, and it's actually made up of 2 different pieces. So you have one long piece here, and then you have, it's focusing on my face versus on the strap, so my apologies. And then you have this strap here. Now this one is 47 inches from tip to tip, and this one is also on the very last adjustment because that's how I end up wearing it as well. I feel that it's, you know, it's a little bit longer than the strap from the bandolier, but it's still not too long to the point where it's kind of, you know, annoying when something's a little too farther down. So again, it's almost like it's right in between for me and my height, but I thought I would mention how long the straps are because I feel that, I don't know, I feel it's important. That way, if you don't have a Louis Vuitton boutique near you or anything like that, it might make it a little bit easier to figure out or to measure out if it ends up working out for your body frame. So again, I thought I would mention that. On to the pros, and I'll start off with the Speedy. And my apologies again if I keep looking down. I wrote down so many different details, and I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. All right, so on to the pros of the Speedy Bandolier. I'd have to say that one of the biggest pros on it is the fact that it does come with a Vachetta strap. And the reason why I think this is a pro is because this is very, very comfortable. As the Vachetta starts to age, as the leather starts to oxidize and patina, I feel that it's a little bit more flexible. It's already flexible flexible in itself because of the type of leather that it is, but I find it a lot more comfortable than some of the other bandolier straps, like the Damier Ebene. I really like the Damier Ebene, you know, crossbody, but I feel that for me, sometimes it ends up digging into my chest a little too much. I do have a larger chest, so I don't know, sometimes it's not as comfortable, but this one is like you don't even feel it on you. You just kind of put it on crossbody and it's just so incredibly comfortable. So I'd have to say the fact that it comes with this strap is definitely one of the biggest pros. Another pro that I have to say is, again, the strap, the fact that it does have the multiple adjustments. So that way, if you're a little bit taller, if you're a little bit shorter, if you're, you know, depending on your body frame or your height or anything like that, I feel that it really caters to most or every type of frame that there is out there. And I really do like that. So it's not like it's just one, on one setting and then either it works for you or it doesn't. It's just so incredibly versatile in that sense. So I really do appreciate the fact that it does have multiple adjustments for, you know, for various body types. Another pro is the fact that I find this version to be very user-friendly, and it's a great spin on a classic. So the 25 Speedy is very iconic. It's been around for a very long time, and when they introduced the bandolier, I feel that it also opened up the doors to a lot more people to experience this particular bag. So let's say that you're not a fan of the hand carrier. Let's say that you don't want to put it on the crook of your arm, or you absolutely want to be hands-free because you have little ones, or whatever the reason may be. The fact that you have the bandolier makes it, again, that much more versatile, because if you want to, you could take off the strap and use it kind of like the iconic one, or if you absolutely need to be hands-free, if you're running around town and you just don't want to worry about anything else, and you know, it seems a lot more convenient to have the bandolier strap. And this is coming from someone that didn't really understand, I guess I wasn't really a fan of crossbody bags. I never have been, and I've said that in a lot of my other videos. I mean, I appreciated what they brought to the table, and I understand all of that, but for me, and when I see a handbag, it wasn't a selling point. It wasn't something that I was looking for. However, when it came to the Pochette Metis, when I had that in my collection, it really opened up my eyes to a completely different type of silhouette, a different type of style of handbags. And I 100% wholeheartedly appreciate the fact that this is a bandolier. And I understand the reason. I understand the hype. And it's, you know, it's not even a hype. It's the fact that, again, we go back to the fact that it is incredibly user-friendly. You know, I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna wear it. I don't have to worry that I can only wear it in the crook of my arm. And even though I do prefer hand carry bags or totes because that's more my style, again, I sincerely appreciate the bandolier and what it has brought to numerous types of handbags out there. So I'd have to say that the versatility is also another great major point when it comes to the Speedy 25 or the Speedy bandolier. Another thing that I'd have to say is the fact that I feel that the 25 size when it comes to the bandolier, in my opinion, in my personal taste, is the best size for it. And even though I prefer, like I just said, I prefer hand carry bags, for me, the classic Speedy 30 is by far one of my all-time favorite bags. I love the way that it looks, but for hand carry bags, I prefer the classic 30, but for the bandolier, I prefer the 25. I feel that the 25 ends up suiting every single type of body frame. I feel that you're still able to fit as much as you need in there because it is, even though it is a little bit smaller, you're still able to fit quite a bit in here, and I will show you guys that in just a second. But I also like the fact that it's not too overwhelming. I did once upon a time try on the 35 crossbody. It was way too big. I tried on the 30 and I also felt that it was a little too large for my frame, but the 25, I feel it's kind of right in between. So the way that I feel about the classic 30 for hand carry is the way that I feel about the 25 for crossbody. So maybe it's me and my craziness, but again, I feel that the 25 is the perfect size for crossbody. So that's just my personal opinion on it. So like I said, even though this is a smaller size, I feel that you can still carry quite a bit of items in there. You can end up carrying, like for me, it's all my 7 daily essentials, plus a cardigan, plus gloves if need be, a scarf, or anything like that. I can end up fitting, I end up fitting it in. And usually when it comes to bags, I'm really bad in the sense that I end up sometimes I want to just throw things in there. I don't know why. It's almost like I feel the need to to pack it all in for no reason, you know what I mean? It makes absolutely no sense. But I end up carrying my 7 daily essentials, or if I'm going out, or if I'm doing this, that, or the other, I can end up fitting a lot more items in there. And I also have to say that because of its size, it makes it a lot easier to keep its structure, because something that the Speedies are known for is the fact that they end up sagging once you end up putting all your items inside, because even though it does have the reinforced, if you will, sides, because it does have the bandolier strap here added to it, for the most part, it doesn't really have a whole lot of structure to it. So it tends to slouch a little bit, but when you end up putting all your items inside, sometimes it ends up sagging down here at the bottom. Like I said before, they're known for doing that, but because of the size, I feel that it ends up holding its structure a little bit better, and I feel that it doesn't sag as much as, say, a 35 would if you were to put your items in here. And I will have to say that personally, I don't end up using purse organizers. It's just my personal preference. I don't mind the sag. It's actually one of the details that I prefer, or that I actually like, that I appreciate the most about the Speedy, just because, you know, the Speedy itself is very iconic, and the sag, I feel, is also iconic, but it just might be, you know, my own thoughts, but I really do appreciate that about it. So those are the quick pros that I thought I would share with you. Now, the pros on the Pochette Metis are quite similar to the Speedy bandolier, but I'd have to say that the biggest pro for me is, again, the fact that this bag is the one that really opened my eyes to a completely different style. And like I said before, I was always really apprehensive with crossbody bags. I didn't think it was me. I felt that, oh, you know, I love the way that they looked on everyone else, but I just kept thinking, that's not really my style. That's not really my style. And once I added this back to my collection, I really understood why it was, you know, why it was so great. The crossbody concept is just so incredibly freeing. You know, I love the fact that if I'm out shopping, or if I'm out going to a fair, or wherever it is, I can have my bag, I can have the items that I need with me, and I can be hands-free. So that is, you know, kind of like what I said before with the Speedy. It is the biggest selling point on both of them. But as far as the strap goes, back to the pros on just this bag, the fact that it also comes with the detachable, adjustable strap. I really like that. This is only, like I said, the two pieces of canvas, but this one does have the seven adjustments. So again, it makes it even better that way. If you need something a little bit longer, if you need something a little bit shorter, it really caters to every size, just like the Speedy 25 does. Another pro that I'd have to say about this is the fact that when you open up this bag, you're able to see everything at a glance. That is a major win for me, because if I'm at the checkout, or if I'm somewhere where I need to get into my bag and I need to retrieve my items quickly, the fact that I can see everything at a glance makes me very, very happy. I don't have to sit there and fumble through the bag or anything like that. So the fact that you can see everything at a glance is a major, major pro. Something else that I have to say that is a pro is the fact that it does have varying sizes for the compartments. So as you can tell, this compartment here is a little bit shorter. This one here is a little bit longer on either side, but it ends up being a little bit more generous. And then the back one is a little bit smaller. As I said, I don't really consider it a compartment. It's more of a slip pocket, if you will. And the fact that you also have the zippered you know, compartment on the back side is great. Again, if you want to hide, if you want to maybe put your phone back there, or if you want to put maybe larger bills, or if there's something that you want to carry with you that you don't want everyone to see when you open your bag, this is a great little feature. So it's almost like its own little security feature. So again, the fact that it does have varying compartments is great. Something else that I really like about it is the fact that the strap, even though I do appreciate the 25, or I appreciate the bandolier because it is so incredibly comfortable, this one is not as comfortable, I'm not gonna lie, but I love the fact that I don't have to worry about vachetta. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about water stains. I don't have to worry about absolutely anything. I'm able to just, you know, put the bag on, enjoy it. I don't have to worry about color transfer on the vachetta if it's too light or anything like that. So the strap in itself might not be as comfortable, but it is very, very carefree. So I love that. I also appreciate the fact that this bag has the microfiber interior. Now, even though this is a couple hundred more than the Speedy 25, and that one does have the textile lining, I love the fact that this has the microfiber. I don't know what it is. I feel that it kind of elevates the bag a little bit more because it has that added feature. Now, some of the other prints that they are available in, The Empreinte leather one doesn't have the microfiber. It has the textile, but the fact that it does have the textile versus having the microfiber, I feel that it makes the bag a little bit, I feel that it would make the bag a little heavier if it ended up having the microfiber. So even though I do appreciate it on the canvas, I feel that it's kind of like the best of both worlds. You have the canvas that is lightweight in itself, and then you have the beautiful microfiber that adds a little bit of weight to it, but kind of elevates the interior of it. So I just thought I would mention that as well. And the last thing that I want to say about this bag is when you do end up using it crossbody, I absolutely love the silhouette of it because it ends up laying on your body flat. It's not cumbersome. It's not overwhelming. I feel that it ends up laying on your body. It's just perfect. You don't have to worry about it sticking out or anything like that. The 25 does stick out a little bit, but again, because of the size, it's a little bit smaller. It's still not a very cumbersome type of bag. So I love the fact that it lays on you, I think, perfectly. So those are the pros for the Pochette Metis. Now for the cons on the Speedy 25. I'd have to say that one of the biggest cons, the thing that I feel that most people are very apprehensive with when it comes to this bag or deciding on this bag is the opening. Because when it comes to Speedies, the smaller the bag is, the smaller the opening is, obviously because of the length. But, you know, when I first got this bag, this was actually a gift from Robert for Valentine's Day. I did a first impression of this, and I will either put it on up above or on the description box below, or I'll put it at the end of this video. I'll put it somewhere if you guys are interested. But I was a little apprehensive because when I started putting my items in here, the opening felt like it was a little restricting, and I felt that the zippers would end up kind of damaging my items. And it was actually my Chanel O case in the lambskin leather that when I put it in, I felt that it didn't have a lot of give to it because of the opening. So I will have to say that it's not as stiff as it was when I first got it. It has really relaxed a lot more, but the opening isn't as generous as, say, a 30 Speedy or a 35 Speedy. So here we go. There's another little shot of it. And I know that, like I said before, that's something that a lot of people end up thinking twice about if they want to add it to their collection because of that. They might like the size, but the fact that it has a smaller opening is what really turns a lot of people off. I feel, you know, I've gotten a lot of feedback on that. But I am, like I said, very happy to say that the opening has relaxed considerably since I got it. And I feel that the more and more I use it, the more relaxed this will be. And then hopefully it'll be a thing of the past as far as me worrying about putting items in here. Now, something else that I wanted to mention since we're talking about the opening is the fact that if you do have larger items, if you do have a larger wallet or any other type of larger small leather goods, depending on their size or on their width, you might end up having to put them in at an angle. For example, here I have the Chanel zipped wallet. Now this one, you know, I wouldn't be able to fit it in there just like so. I actually end up having to kind of tip it at an angle to put it inside. And the only reason I mention that is because that might end up being a deal breaker for you. I feel that when it comes to retrieving items quickly or, you know, or putting items into your bag, I think that there are some people out there who don't want to have to think twice about how they're putting their items inside. And I completely understand that. So usually when I end up using this bag, I end up going for a smaller wallet. I end up going for either a smaller card holder, or I end up going for an O-zip coin purse from Chanel, just because, again, it makes it so much easier for me to throw my item inside without having to think of the zippers ruining the leather or anything like that. So I just thought I would just mention the fact that you end up having to put some of these at an angle to make them fit. Now, once they are inside, everything fits in there fine, but it's a matter of, you know, retrieving the item or taking the item out as far as having to put it at an angle or pull it out at an angle, you know, because like, for example, with the Neverfull from Louis Vuitton or with the tote from Chanel, you're able to just throw it in there, plop it in, and no questions asked because of how open it is. But the opening on this one is something that I feel is, it can be quite restricting depending on the type of small leather goods that you're carrying. So once again, here is a shot of the opening. The last con that I wanted to talk about this is the fact that because it does have the brown textile lining on the interior, and because the opening is a little bit smaller than other Speedies, again, I go back to the opening. I feel like I'm badgering the opening, but you guys know that when it comes to reviews or when it comes to anything talking about luxury goods, I'm going to be 100% 100%, you know, transparent and honest with you. But back to the textile lining, or the fact that it is dark, it might make it a little difficult to find the items inside if you don't have a purse organizer. And like I mentioned earlier, I tend not to use purse organizers. It's just my personal preference. I appreciate them. I love, you know, how it keeps someone organized. I love that aspect about them, but it's not for me at this point in time. Who knows? I might end up changing my mind maybe 2 months down the road or 2 weeks down the road. Who knows? But again, because the opening is a little bit smaller and because it does have that darker interior, if you end up having darker small leather goods, or if you end up you know, if you don't have a purse organizer, it might make it a little difficult to find the items inside. So usually when it comes to doing reviews, I'm able to open up the bag. You're able to see, you know, the lining inside. You're able to see everything. But because of the color and because of how the opening is, you're not able to really see too much going on. All you really see is this little zippered compartment here. So again, if you do have if you have small leather goods that are a little bit darker, you might end up having to, you know, to fuss around in your bag a little bit more in order to retrieve them. So this goes back to the whole thing of getting an item quickly and retrieving it if you're at the checkout or wherever it is that you are. Some of us want to be able to get in the bag, get the item out, and then you're good to go, instead of sitting there going, where are my keys? Where's my phone? How many times has that happened to you? I know that's happened to me a million times. You know, and I end up holding up the line and I feel like I'm all frazzled trying to look for something in my bag. So that's why I thought I would mention the dark interior and the smaller opening, because that is something that might end up happening. So those are the cons. Now for the cons on the Pochette Metis, it's actually a pro that I talked about earlier, so I'm not trying to contradict myself by any means whatsoever, but the only reason why I'm including it as a con is because compared to the strap on the bandolier, the strap on the Pochette Metis is a little bit, it's a little bit more uncomfortable than the all leather one. The all leather one ends up just kind of molding to your shoulder, or when you put it crossbody, you don't really feel it, versus this one, it's not to the point where it's annoying. It's not anything like that. But between the two, the bandolier strap is definitely going to be a lot more comfortable than this one is. But because this one is canvas, it's already very lightweight. So it's, again, not to the point where it's going to be digging into your chest or digging into your shoulder or anything like that, as if it were a treated leather strap. And I've also talked about this on my channel before. I am a big fan of Damier Ebene, but because of the treated leather and because of how stiff it is, sometimes the Damier Ebene ends up digging into my chest a little too much. And I did try on the bandolier and I wanted to love it. I wanted to get it, but I just felt that it was a little too much whenever I would put it, you know, crossbody. So between the all leather detachable strap with the bandolier and the Pochette Metis strap, the all leather bandolier one is going to be a lot more comfortable. But between this one and a Damier Ebene one, in my opinion, I feel that this one is going to be more comfortable because it seems like it's a little bit more lightweight. And even though it is canvas, it ends up just being a lot more comfortable, at least in my case. Next con isn't a con for me, but it is something that has been talked about quite often on reviews or just on YouTube in general, and that is the S-lock closure. Not too many people are a fan of it because they feel that it's not as secure as a zippered closure is, and it definitely isn't. But some people have experienced that if you end up just kind of slightly bumping these two little tabs, that it ends up popping up on its own. So I've never had that happen, and I have stuffed this bag to the brim. I mean, to the point where it's just like, I mean, all of these little compartments are full, and I haven't had an issue. So the cons, I feel, that are very minimal when it comes to this. I definitely 100% feel that the pros, outweigh the cons in any way when it comes to the Pochette Metis. The last part of this video, I also wanted to show how some of the items end up fitting inside of the bags. It might be a little bit difficult to see the items when it comes to the Speedy because of the opening and because of the darker interior. But I did set aside these items so you can see how it looks, and you can end up seeing how it ends up sagging. And I will try to fit a few other items in there, so again, it might make it a little bit difficult to see with the Speedy. But I set aside the Chanel 6-ring key holder, my phone, which is the iPhone 6S, the round coin purse from Louis Vuitton, the clay in the Damier Ebene, the mini pochette in the monogram, and the Josephine wallet in the monogram as well. So I just wanted to show you how everything ends up fitting inside. And really, because I don't have an organizer, it might not be the best, but I'll give it a go anyways. All right. I'm able to just fit everything in there. All right, so if I was carrying this bag like so, you can see that there is a little bit of a sag, not too much, as I mentioned before. When it comes to the 35, you could really see that sag going in. It almost feels like it's losing its shape, but the sag is something that I definitely appreciate about it. But there you go. You can see it still ends up retaining its shape pretty well. It does make it a little bit heavier because it feels like everything's right here. It's kind of localized on this part of the bag. And if I was to open it up, it would be difficult to see again because of the opening. So I'm able to fit a few more items. I have, oh, and I forgot my sunglasses. So the sunglasses can fit in there. I also have my toiletry 15 that can fit in there. It's like Mary Poppins when it comes to Speedies. And I also put in the Chanel zipped wallet just to give you an example. So that has quite a bit of items inside. It's starting to, you can really feel the heaviness, but you can see that it's still not sagging too much. You would almost expect it to be a little bit lower because of how many items I have in here, but because of the size of it, I feel that it ends up holding its shape again a little bit better. So now in here, you can see everything is kind of jumbled in. So that's what I'm talking about. This particular shot right here, where you can see that if you're at the checkout and you need to get your items, you kind of have to fumble through everything if you don't have a purse organizer. So even though the organizers aren't for me, I 100% appreciate what they do and how easy it is to find your items when you have that. So I might change my mind. I'm not saying I won't, but it might take a little bit more time. So now I wanted to show you the content, those exact same contents inside of the Pochette Metis. So here we go. And there's a front view of it. There's a side view. You can see that there is a little bit of a of a clearance there that you can see all the way through the bag. But you can see that the middle pocket is full with items. The front pocket does as well. There's the back view of it. This one ends up dipping in a little bit, and that's because I didn't end up using this back zippered pocket. I could have done that, and I think that it would have made it a little bit more even without that little dip. But I thought that I would show you. And then there's the other side, and then the bottom. You can see that the bottom really has the bottom right there ends up kind of taking up the most space. All right, so now for the opening. As you can see, it's full. I'm pulling on this, and it doesn't open up. All right, so this is what I'm carrying in the Pochette Metis. You can see everything at a glance, and that's what I was talking about earlier. That's one of the pros. I love the fact that I can absolutely see everything that I'm carrying. Now, what I have in here, kind of like what I showed you earlier, I have the Josephine wallet. It ends up fitting perfectly in the first little pocket. Let me see if I could do this a little bit easier. So it ends up fitting in here quite easily because of the length that it has. So there is the Josephine. The mini Pochette is out of the main compartment here. I have my Key Australia sunglasses still in that compartment, and I have my Chanel 6-ring key holder. Now, as far as the back pocket here, I have my Louis Vuitton Damier Ben Clay, my iPhone 6S, and my round coin purse. And that is all I have in there. So again, I love this main compartment here because I'm able to fit the larger items, or the thicker items, if you will. So I can end up putting my mini Pochette in there, or if I wanted to put in the toiletry 15, I can end up doing that as well. So let me just show you really quickly how it looks in here. This is a little bit, because of the structure that the toiletry 15 has, it ends up taking a little bit more space. But let me see if I'm able to fit the same items inside of there. I'm trying to, it's like playing Tetris whenever it comes to handbags, am I right? Until you figure out what ends up working out the best for each person. All right, so let's put the Josephine up here. And let's put the mini Pochette away, because I'm not able to fit the mini Pochette and the toiletry 15 together. It just ends up taking up too much space. So this time I ended up putting my sunglass case in the front with the wallet, the toiletry 15 in there, the 6-ring key holder. That's all that ended up fitting into the middle compartment. And then on the back here, I have my phone, my clay, and my round coin purse. So let's see if I can do the test of closing it up. And I'm still able to close it up. So again, personally, I feel that you can only get away with either one or the other. I did try to put the toiletry 15 on its side to see if that would end up fitting. But when I do that, it's actually a little too tall, and I don't have as much clearance as I would like. And that's what I'm trying to show you guys right there. but guess what? It still ends up closing. Still ends up closing. Yay! So there you go. You can get away with, I mean, carrying so many items when it comes to this. And if I was carrying a smaller, more compact wallet, then I think that I might be able to get away with fitting a little bit, you know, just a few more items in there. So again, I love this bag because of how open it is. As I mentioned, I often get asked which one I prefer, and I think that between the two, they are both fantastic handbags. They both offer quite a bit, and I feel that because they're so versatile, they end up catering to a lot more people. But because I've had the Pochette Metis for that much longer, and because I've enjoyed it as much as I did the very first day that I got it, I would have to say that even though I love them both, I think that the Pochette Metis for me at the moment is something that I am just madly in love with. And to be honest, the Speedy 25 bandolier is quickly becoming a favorite of mine. I feel that I end up gravitating towards it a lot more than I had ever anticipated. I thought that it would be a bag that I would use maybe once in a while, but I feel that I end up kind of going for it even more than some of the other bags that I've had in my collection for some time, because of its versatility, because of how comfortable the strap is, and I really do love the size. But again, between the two, whichever one you end up going for, I mean, they're both fantastic pieces, and I'm very, very happy that I'm able to have them both in my collection, and hopefully this video is able to help. And I think at the end of the video, I will also include, I think I have mod shots of the Pochette Metis. They're old mod shots, but I will include them for the Pochette Metis, how they look on my body frame, and I will also include the Speedy the Speedy Bandolier 25, so you can see how it fits on me. I am 5'5" for reference, and I am on the curvilicious side, so hopefully this video ends up, like I said before, helping you guys out. I talked about the pros, I talked about the cons, I talked about the weight, the length, what else? I feel like I'm missing something, maybe not. I don't know, but again, I tried to give as much information as possible, and I know there were quite a few cuts in this video, but I kept on having to move my notes over so I can be a little bit more detailed. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like me to continue doing comparison videos, let me know in the comment section down below. I know I've gotten a lot of people asking about the medium large and the boy from Chanel, if I could compare the two. Like I said, it's not really something that I've ever really talked about too often on my channel when it comes to comparisons, so I apologize if this video was all over the place or if I ended up being too chatty like I am right now. I really need to know when to be quiet, but I just feel that I want to give as much information as possible, especially for those of you that aren't near a boutique and you're deciding between the two. So again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload new videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 videos a week. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.